Hello, this is Francis from McCaffrey Crafts, and today we are going to make a blackthorn walking stick. I've selected this piece of wood today, and this, as you can see, is a nice piece of blackthorn. It's fully seasoned. I have sanded down just the thorns, but I'm going to leave these on there as well. And we're going to make this into a walking stick today. So let's follow the journey of this stick. Okay, guys. The first stage is I have to decide on what handle type that I'm going to use. So when you look at this piece of blackthorn, there's a few options. Like, of course, I can make it more into a kind of like a knob stick or something like that. But because I'm a seasoned stick maker, I've spotted there's some interesting features. You see this angle here and here, that is going to fit so comfortably into the palm of your hand. So I'm going to make this into a type of T-stick, type of stick, because I've seen these very interesting features on the handle. And so the first step is decide on what handle type. I'm going to make this into more of like a T-shaped handle. Now I'm just going to do a few of the rough cuts, and let's continue on the journey of this stick. Okay, so I've decided on the handle I'm going to make. Next, I'm just going to remove this excess piece here, which is sticking up, that will not feel too comfortable on your hand. So again, we're going to make this into a comfortable stick. So I'm just going to cut this bit off, and just do this in real time, guys. Okay, so we've just made that rough cut, and just for comfort as well, I think it'll probably be comfortable. We just remove this little bit that's sticking up here as well. So we just get... And again, like, usually you just shape out the handle with a handsaw. You can use like bandsaws and different things as well, but sometimes it's just a bit easier and quicker to use the handsaw because you can kind of see the features you want to take out. And you're always just kind of trying to shape the handle in a way that will make it easier for you when you get to the rasping stage as well. So you see this thing that's sticking out here, we'll also remove that. Let me just get the angle right here. Okay, and it's starting to take shape now as well. I can move a little bit of this here. Okay, so I've made the rough cuts now, and next stage we're going to rasp to try to make the handle more comfortable for a walking stick. So let's continue on this journey, okay? Okay, the next stage I'm going to use a Japanese Shinto rasp. I've used these for years, and I think these are pretty good for using after your rough cut. So you can see here, like, the rough cuts are there. So what you use the Shinto rasp is to give it a bit more shape and definition. So here guys, we're just going to go down, and you'll see I'm going to get out these rough cuts that were in there, just trying to get it more comfortable for when people use it. Takes me a minute or two, guys, so just bear with me. As you can see, it's starting to take shape. We're getting out the rough cuts, and we're giving it more of a kind of like smoother angle as well. So we'll just do this now for another minute or two. So I'll show you now, guys. You can kind of see here how it's got a lot smoother, and that will, you're always going to test how it feels in your hand. So at this stage here, so I've just kind of rasped out the rough cuts, and usually then I'll just use my hands to get the angle. So I can see that this bit needs to sit in comfortably into the palm of your hand. Your thumb needs to rest here, and then your hand is here. Now I check with my right hand, and I also check with my left hand. So again, there's an angle of both sides. It works perfectly for both hands. So by doing this and sanding it out as well and checking it very slowly as you rasp, you can constantly keep checking as well of how the hand is going to fit. So as you can see here, I've got out the smooth, the rough cuts. I'm just going to rasp out the end of this, and I'll show you guys where I'm at the end of that rasping. Thank you. Okay, so I've just finished the rasping stage, and I've done all the rough rasping here as well. And this stick is going to feel amazing when it's finished. I've just kind of tested it out in a few grips, and I've perfectly designed this handle so that when you hold it in your hand, you get one of the most comfortable grips you can on a walking stick. So this stick is ideal for someone maybe who's just come out of surgery, who's looking for something that they really want a comfortable grip. They want something that fits in really beautifully into the hand. So next stage now is I'm going to sand it, and I'm going to try to get maybe some color going on the bark here as well to improve the aesthetics of the stick. So not only does someone want a stick that is functional, that feels comfortable, they also want a stick that looks good, so that when you hold this stick, you admire the artistry into it that has occurred naturally in nature. So I'm just going to go to the sanding stage now, guys. So let's continue this stick. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm just going to do like a rough sanding here of trying to get these out with coarse. You can use like any one of these little sanding machines to do it, but this is just to do kind of like a rough kind of sanding on it, and then I'll do the fine sanding by hand as well when I bring out the colors, because you see, like, you can't get into these various angles with this, but this is just to take out like some of the rasp marks and different things like that. So here we go, guys. We'll turn this on. More or less that's done. Let's continue now on to the sanding by hand. Okay, next we're going to come to the hand sanding stage, because you can't really get into these angles with a belt sander or any sander. So, like, you know, you're going to use something like this as well, just to take out a few of the marks. And you know, to get into these angles, like, you're just going to fold over little bits of sandpaper so that you can just kind of work on. You know, you can bring up some of the colors. You see some of the colors coming up, and you can use different types of sandpaper as well. So, you know, here's where someone's going to like be gripping with their hand. So just going to sand away to get away all of the rough texture of the bark. And when you sand away the bark like this, as you can see, you're bringing out some really nice coloring as well. And you're always trying to add these like interesting features as well. So you kind of sand away here, and I'm going to sand away here for the next probably 20 minutes. And after I've finished sanding, I'll show you guys where I'm at. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, so the sanding is finished. And as you can see now, I've brought out a lot of the colors. I've got rid of some of the texture on it as well to make it a lot smoother. So here you have like a beautiful handle as well that fits in really comfortably into your right or left hand. So the next stage after sanding it is you need to apply a sealer. And you can use any sanding sealer. Like, there's many sanding sealers I used over the years. Like, say for example, if you guys want to, I don't know if you have this in this part of the world, this is the Ruston's sanding sealer, and I've used this many times in the past before, and this is like one handy example of a sanding sealer. So when you're putting on the sealer, you just want to apply it liberally so it sinks into the wood. So we'll just kind of do some of that now as well, so you guys can just see. So you're just applying it. You know, you don't have to be too careful when you're applying this first coat of a sanding sealer. You just kind of like lump it on, and it will seep into the wood, and it will protect it as well. And then you'll give it a light sanding after this as well, before you start to apply your final finish as well. So usually I'll just apply any sanding sealer to seal the wood just after I've sanded it as well. And you leave this then to dry, and usually while it's drying, I will then try to straighten it as well, and I'll put it into one of my vices or my straightening apparatus, and then I leave it for a day or two, and I come back to it then as well. So on to the next stage then will probably be to straighten it. So here we have like you know, a kind of a bend in the wood. So just follow me around now, and I'll kind of show you guys where I usually will straighten things. So usually I use these type of vices, and I put in the wood, I heat it up and straighten it. If you look over here, you can see I have this in straightening process now as well, and I have the various vices on it as well. So you heat up the wood. So I'll be taking this out as well. So come over here. Here's another one that I'm working on. So here I'm taking out you know, the bend as well. We heat up the wood and we hold it in the vices. So if you look at this stick as well, so you can kind of see it from an angle. So I kind of need to straighten it a little bit as well. So the next stage is I'm going to straighten the wood. And after I've straightened it in one of these apparatus, I'll show you guys where I'm at then. Okay? Okay guys, so I've kind of just taken it out of the vices, and it's kind of like as straight as it can be now. It's never going to be like completely perfectly straight. You can keep going back and forth if you want it like perfectly straight, but I'm happy enough with that. I think that has balance as well. And when you look at it straight down from here, let's see if we can focus it in. You see that is pretty straight. So yeah, so now that it's pretty straight, I decide if I'm going to leave it as let me just focus in here, as a natural bark finish, or if we're going to paint it black. Now the bark looks in pretty good condition here if I sand it, so probably with this stick I'm going to leave it a natural bark. So the next stage is I'm just going to like sand this down and get the some of the nice coloring up, and so then after I sand this a bit, I'll show you where I'm at then. Okay, so now we're just kind of like, you can see the shaft of the stick is as straight as you can be. So just for cleaning the shaft of the stick, if there's any little bits of moss or different things on that, you can just use like a wire brush to get it off. I've already redone that, but just letting you guys know. And you know, these little thorns and stumps can be quite nice on the stick. Usually when you paint a stick black, they are really highlighted, and but it's kind of rare enough to get these left on when the stick is kind of natural bark. Usually the feature is the bark and not the knobs or the knuckles. So like if you can see here, like you kind of can cut it down here, maybe leave a little bit of a 1/4 of an inch, and then you just kind of like sand it about so that it's not too sharp as well, and that will feel nice. And as you can see there, you're just kind of like sanding, you know, like you see there's this kind of like rough kind of texture here as well. You just want to get that out, and it's kind of hard to use any machines as well because of all the different grooves and different things. So, you know, you're just getting out like, say here, you see like is some kind of hard texture and a little bit there of the bark as well, that we just have to kind of like, you know, maybe just kind of take some of that off as well. And then we can kind of work that in. So you just spend, you know, some time just getting out a bit of sandpaper and just, you know, working away all the way up here as well, making sure that these guys aren't too sharp as well. You just kind of make them a little bit, and use different degrees of sandpaper as well. You know yourself, you start with coarse and then work your way down. You know, you need to teach you about sandpaper. I think most of you guys would know about that already. And you're just kind of preparing it, just trying to gently bring up any of the colours on that as well that you see. Like again, I could still paint this kind of black and have like a traditional type of look to it as well. Or I can leave it natural bark. Usually at this stage, I'll see how I feel. If I think it's going to look good as a natural bark type of stick, then I'm going to do that as well. So I'm just kind of like constantly looking here and going back and seeing if I've missed anything, and just working on these little nubs. You know, they're kind of hard and awkward to be sanding as well. So like, you know, you usually have to do these bits by hand, and just to kind of get them to look a bit cool. And as always, like when these are black and you see these nubs in it, it's pretty good. But in this stick, I might just make it a natural bark one. I think that I haven't done a natural bark one with nubs with this type of T-shape for a while, and I think you guys might appreciate it. So after this stage, I'm probably going to put some more sanding sealer here on the shaft of the stick as well. Okay. Okay, guys, on to the next stage, which is usually I just want to put on the very first coat liberally. So you put on, you know, you don't have to be as careful when you're putting it on. You put it on as liberally as possible because you want it to soak in a little bit and seal the wood. You're not dealing with the natural wood grain of the the tree. You're working with the bark as well. So this will soak after you've sanded it. Some of this will actually soak into the bark as well, and it gives you an idea of how it's going to look with the finish on it as well. It brings up like some of the colors, it brings up some of the different features, and you just kind of apply the finish on not the finish, sorry, this is just the sealer. You just apply on the sealer as liberally as possible, and again you leave this to dry then for as long as your sealer takes to dry. And yeah, so that's usually what I do at this stage when I'm preparing one of these natural bark sticks as well. I'll just put on this coat very, very liberally, and you know, leave this to dry then for a few hours. And then after that, you guys can decide on what type of final finish you want. There's many different types of finishes. There's oils, which are good in wood grain, with bark, you know, there's different ones as well. And yeah, so let's continue with this making of this stick. Okay guys, with a bit of a plot twist, I decided to paint the shaft black as well. I thought it just looked a bit better. I was going to finish it like a natural bark, but like with these bumps and things on it as well, I don't know, it just looked, I just got a calling that black would be better as well. So make this video a bit interesting, I did a bit of a plot twist. So I've made it into in a black finish as well. And here you can have the handle as well, which is actually excellent. There's this groove here and here. So when you're putting your hand on the stick, you've got grooves on both sides. So if you're like right-handed, it feels pretty good. Or if you're left-handed, it feels pretty good. So here we are. The stick has been finished. It's a very nice stick. I hope you enjoyed the journey of the stick. Go to McCaffreyCrafts.com, and if you're interested, you can see all my final products there. Thank you guys for watching. More to come.